Despite starting as a story-driven title you're supposed to play once, OneShot has a surprisingly active modding community, determined to sit with the game for quite a while. Anyone attuned to the channel will know some great stuff has already come out, but today, we're looking at OneShot Frostide, a holiday-themed mod that sees Niko revisiting the Barrens and other familiar locales to spread some holiday cheer. Retreading the same environments in a follow-up always runs the risk of feeling needlessly repetitious, yet time and time again, I was surprised at just how well Frostide utilized the old environments to show new, heartfelt story beats.
High above the street lamps burning, world of darkness slowly turning. Cross their refuge, find their tower before their 11th hour. Far away my home is calling, must keep going, no more stalling. Find the path through, follow the sign so that I can see the sunshine. They say I'm now one.
For better or worse, a running theme around the holidays is reunion. Sometimes it's a reminder at how bad our chemistry is with family, reaffirming why we don't talk in the first place, and, in the best case scenario, it's meeting an old friend from out of town, talking as if no time has passed at all. I'm pleased to say that OneShot Frostide is very much that second one. OneShot Frostide is the perfect way to reconnect with these characters after enduring the main story. We open with Niko hopping out of bed, calling us by name and saying they missed us so much. I chose happy to see you too because I'm not a monster. We confide that we've been going through some stuff because who actually thinks they're doing good when asked? Niko explains that they've got multiple presents to dish out, including one for us, and it's as good an excuse as any to start making the rounds. Predictably, you can interact with stuff, but thankfully, there's no remote control puzzle this time around. I have to say, it's cathartic to breeze through these environments. We know the route, we know how most of this goes down. Why impede us a second time? While we're on that subject, you don't have to open your inventory at all for the entire mod. I'm sure some will miss cobbling together stuff from the environment to solve puzzles, but as far as Frostide is concerned, it just wants to give you a story without getting in its own way, which is fine by me because I get stuck in these games a ton. Interacting with stuff causes Niko to reminisce, reflecting on our past adventures. There's a ton of new dialogue to be found this way, and it's worth poring over any object you see to find out what Niko says. Unsurprisingly, there's no light bulb here, so we head inside. The melancholic purple of the Barrens is now blanketed in soft white, and Niko sees snow for the first time, confirming they're a Floridian. Nah, it looks like Niko has seen snow before. They even start gushing about it, blissfully unaware of how it can be dangerous. It is a miracle Niko has survived as long as they have. We have now gained the ability to create snowmen. Wonderful. Trekking right, we see that the awkward screen transition is still intact, and run into Prophet Bot, though it doesn't seem like he's moving much, as they only react to the light bulb. I must say, for all its comical moments, the world of OneShot really is atmospheric. If atmosphere is something you value in games, I can't recommend this video's sponsor, Sky Children of the Light, enough. Sky is a free, social MMO where you can meet new friends and take in gorgeous environments. It's a game engineered to bring out the best in humanity. Help forgotten spirits reclaim their memories in this enchanting world, earning cosmetics for your character and upgrading your flight power. Flying in Sky feels better than flying in any other game I've played. It's a freeing experience and the ideal way to see this world. Night Margin herself is an avid Sky player and has expressed her love for the game on multiple occasions. When I started playing it back in 2021, it quickly became one of my favorite cozy games of all time. It has a playful way of communicating with other players that I just haven't seen anywhere else. Use my link in the description to experience the world of Sky for yourself. Sky is available on Switch, PC, iOS, Android, and PlayStation consoles. Thanks to that game company for sponsoring this video. Now, let's continue talking about OneShot Frostide. Niko unveils that the present they brought is a plush of themselves. How narcissistic. This plush has been a running meme amongst the community for a long time now. Normally I'm opposed to putting memes in video games, as it feels tacky and needlessly dates the material, but the sprite work sold me on it in this case. The doll causes ProfitBot to wake up, convinced that it's Nico themselves. He exclaims that the Messiah has fulfilled their duty, which is a weird thing for him to say because as far as he knows, Nico is still holding the light bulb, but whatever. ProfitBot goes on to say he's still here because now that the world has been restored, there's no real reason to leave or do anything, not even interaction. Kindness is alien to him, a foreign thing he doesn't crave or need. This doesn't sit right with anyone, so we seek out Silver, wondering if she can help somehow, but not before Nico gives us a judgmental stare for skipping the sponsor. Way we explain to our feline friends that this world is but one of many we have on our computers. Context like this was never afforded to Nico the first time, and it's interesting to see the reaction here. We break into Silver's house uninvited, which is definitely a safe thing to do, and hide under the counter as she enters. Silver catches us. Nico justifies hiding by explaining that he wanted to leave presents for everyone without being seen, which feels kind of out of character to me, like Nico has no idea if they'll ever be able to see this world again. Wouldn't they want to actually see and talk to everyone before leaving? Silver goes on to explain they are trying to tame ProfitBot, but it's a work in progress, as currently he only sees and cares about Nico, which is a problem many OneShot fans suffer from. We also find out that this world's restoration is not as simple as screwing a light bulb onto a tower. The denizens of the Barrens are still getting accustomed to things, and it's taking a lot of reassurance from Silver and others to convince them everything's safe now. I've always liked little world-building moments like this, like it's neat to actually see oft-overlooked parts of this setting being addressed. How do the people in OneShot settle into how things are now? Time would be my guess. We go with Silver to check up on Profit, and Silver thanks us for giving him the best gift he couldn't ask for. How nice. Our Munchkin-sized Messiah stunlocks Silver with a 3-player chessboard, which I didn't even know was a thing. This caused me to go down a rabbit hole where I was looking up different versions of chess to see the maximum amount of players they've managed to stuff it with. As far as physical board games, they seem to go all the way up to 7 players. Apparently there is a 100-man version, but because of the sheer abundance of players, the dimensions of the board itself have to be rearranged. It's as confusing as it sounds. I mean, wouldn't the players going last be at a huge disadvantage, or would it be an advantage because they see what their opponents are going for? Wouldn't it be annoying to wait for your turn? How do you organize a game on this scope in the first place? Nico tells Silver they're headed for the Glen via rowboat, but that the weight of the presents will be too much for the boat to bear. If he wanted an idea of just how much attention to detail this mod has, they remembered that once you went to the Glen in the original game, you had to get rid of your items because of how heavy they were. Very nice. Adjustments are made to allow more carrying capacity for the boat. Nico gives Silver a hug before departing, stunlocking her once more, and despite usually being standoffish, she accepts. After arriving in the Glen, Nico comes across some vacated houses, which invites suspicion on whether or not the residents are okay, including Alula and Calamus. Each empty room distresses Nico more and more. Thankfully, we're able to provide some reassurance. Heading west from the vacated town, we see the ram farm again and reunite with Eliza, aka the shepherd. Unfortunately, she does not know why the denizens of this place have disappeared. Still, Niko does give her her gift, which fittingly turns out to be ram sticks. Niko might be a touch oblivious or naive, but one thing you can't say is that they're a bad gift giver. What follows this scene is the most emotional moment in this mod so far, because after wadding through some grass, we find a statue of Maze, appropriately placed in the last spot we saw her. In a move that is very one-shot, we close the game for a bit to afford Niko some time to grieve. Thankfully, Niko is feeling better now, so it's time to break into another house. Inside Alula and Calamus' room, we leave some presents, but like last time, are caught before we can leave. It's a heartfelt reunion, and it's great to see these three together again. After this, Niko, or rather Boss Door, gets lost, walking up and down every staircase he can find in search of some way to progress the plot, before just pestering the lead dev about where to go. Oh yeah, I should probably mention earlier I lied to Niko and said that the world machine's name is OneShot, so they just parrot that now and I can't help but laugh. Having had my fill of this mod for the day, I closed it, yet when I came back, Niko was less than thrilled. Niko really shouldn't be complaining here because it could be far worse. My Nintendogs have been encased in darkness for 2 decades, an hour is nothing. Our cat-like friend has little time to whinge, as Alula challenges them to a snowball fight, and by God is the RPG Maker jank on full display here. She follows your moves to a T, but it only gets worse because Calamus gets involved, and things become brazenly bullet hell-like. Somehow everyone is on good terms after this, and the duo affords us another heartfelt goodbye. Trekking forward, we leave the glen behind and emerge in the Refuge, with our first stop being Ling's Cafe. Niko finally learns their name is Ling in the first place, and I learn that Ling is a guy. The two catch up, with Niko giving him a cookbook as a gift, before explaining they have more stops to make, and shortly thereafter, we're back on the road. Fun fact, if you head west and go in the store, you can find the fan composer for this mod, Goatman Gamer. If you agree to listen to his song, you'll be sitting for quite a while, so be sure you're committed. Not far from here, you can find Mason, basically this game's Basil equivalent, though Mason has a larger role to play in this mod than he did before, because if you peel back this curtain, you'll see what's become of the seed in the main game. This was a beautiful little moment, made all the more so by how distraught Niko was earlier. A great bit of storytelling 101 right there. I was surprised at how consistently the story was able to deliver moments like this, especially given its shorter length. We have one more person to visit before heading to ground level, Watcher. She's as surprised to see us as the rest of them. Niko says her present is a watch. In reality, it's a small mirror that wraps around her wrist. Quite clever. Nico exits the elevator, taking in the city's luminous street signs and empty alleyways. The atmosphere of the Refuge never quite left me, an urban loneliness that's still ever present in this mod. We bump into Kip and George, who are gifted a book and a bag of dice respectfully. Kip seems to be leading the engineering effort on improving the Refuge, another bit of world building. Everyone catches up before Nico happens across a statue of themselves, but isn't very thrilled. There's a recurring theme in this mod I thought was very interesting. Nico feels grief over how much this world revolves around them. Among others, characters like Prophetbot are literally just here to help the Messiah in their quest. With that in mind, this statue is just too much. Nico asks for it to be reworked to include others who helped in the original game, and Kip agrees to help. Next on our gift-giving list is Kelvin, and this entire area still terrifies me after having played the Metamorphosis mod, which is even referenced here. Nico continues to ponder on the statue from earlier and starts to question how much they actually contributed to the world's restoration, saying all they did was listen to others. Kelvin explains there are many who wouldn't have taken the task as seriously as Nico did, and that that's a huge reason why everything was restored in the first place. Thankfully, this seems to make Nico feel better. Nico's gifts to Kelvin is cat toys.
Say I'm not one.
As our journey draws to a close, we take in the cityscape again, though it looks different from before. Some time passes and tears well in Nico's eyes. They explain how things haven't been perfect since the end of our last adventure. In our absence, they prayed to us for help, but were met with silence. Skepticism from the village caused Nico to question whether this world was even real. This seems like a very natural issue that could arise after the events of the original one-shot, and it feels like a perfect continuation of this story. Nico's attachment to this place and to us doesn't just disappear at the end of Solstice. That's part of why that ending was so emotional. They'd contend with thoughts like this. They'd wonder how much of it actually happened, especially with the legitimacy of everyone's existence being called into question during the conversation with the world machine. Rue appears and offers some comfort, reassuring us this world isn't fake, that its denizens are real, that Nico's impact is real. Rue would have an interesting perspective on this, considering she inhabited the old world the simulation is based on. Some time ago, she's come to realize that just because the people here are fabricated from technology doesn't mean they aren't real, so it makes sense that she'd reassure Nico in this way. She invites us to speak with Proto and Cedric as the end looms over us. As we approach the final room, we see something terrifying. One-shot minimizes itself. Nico and the World Machine see each other for the first time in a while and share an embrace. Our hero recounts the entire adventure up to this point. Our trip through the Barrens, the Glen, the awful snowball fight, all of it. The World Machine expresses their fear Nico had forgotten them, that they were just a passing dream. These two are tripping over themselves to assure the other that their love and friendship is real. Both are pivotal in the history of the other, and it's really great to see them reconcile. Nico gives the World Machine their scarf and our gift, still under the false notion their name is OneShot, and turns towards the hall, ready once again to say goodbye to us and this world. Staying past the credits reveals that this story is not quite over. The World Machine lambasts us for taking Niko through here again considering the risk that carries. Some of their complaints are fair, but it's obvious their obsession with Niko is still clouding their judgment. They make us promise never to take Niko here again, killing any hope for a sequel, or perhaps alluding to one. It's not all bad. Despite their frustration, they will still part with the much anticipated gift Niko has teased this entire mod. They'll even give you the file location, and they're kind enough to warn you your full name might be displayed. Before we watch the final scene, it's important we know what this mod has been able to do. I'm choosing my next words carefully here, and I know it's going to sound dramatic, but I mean it when I say, there is a depth to my emotions I thought were dead, a level of care I forgot I was capable of. This mod reached deep, managing to pull these feelings out, reminding me I am capable of giving and receiving the kindness shown throughout this story. As you've surmised throughout this video, I can't articulate with words just how faithful Frostide is to the original one-shot. It is so indistinguishable from an official product, Night Margin may as well slap her name on it. Almost every pixel is exactly where it should be. The only real thing I can point to that doesn't look like it belongs in the main game is some of the cutscene art, which, while well drawn, isn't identical to the lineless style that came before, but that's a minor gripe. I fired up this mod expecting a holiday spin-off that was cute and well written. It is definitely both of those things, but so much more. OneShot Frostide is a way to rediscover parts of your heart you forgot you had. It's the perfect epilogue to the original's narrative, a victory lap taking care not to diminish the story beats already established. If the developer's main project, Fading Memory, is half as good as this mod turned out, it will be a masterpiece. You can subscribe for when my video on that comes out. No one-shot fan can afford to pass this up, and if you haven't played one-shot, play it so you can play this.